We're standing here live with Vaughn Raup Fisheries. Vaughn has been in the business for quite some time, and let's find out what he does, how he got started, and how did you get started in this business?
Well, accidentally. We were putting in a well for the construction business, and a geyser came out of there. You know, we had an artesian well, and it was just flowing down the highway. So we decided to, my excavator, I built houses at the time, and my excavator said, well, it's a natural thing to do is to put in ponds. So that's what we did. We put a 1 acre pond in and drained the water in there. And then a friend of mine from Ohio was raising fish, and he said the future really looked good in fish. Aquaculture was coming on strong. This was 1998. So we decided to start raising fish. We stocked the pond heavily with about 5,000 fish: perch, bass, bluegill, all game fish. And from there, we started to sell to farmers, farm ponds, stocking farm ponds. That was 1999. So we've been in about 10 years.
You had to have some sort of schooling for this to learn
how
to take care of the fish, and
yeah, I had a good background in biology. I had 4 years at Grove City College, and we did a fish study for 2 years. It was funded by the government. It was a grant program. They had put in a lot of flood control dams in Mercer County, PA, and we had to study the effect of migration of the fish for spawning upstream when they encountered a flood control dam. They didn't put in fish ladders back then, you know. So it did change the species above and below the ponds. There were some fish that didn't make it above that would have gone much further up the spawn. You know, that was an 8-year study. I was a 2-year part of it.
that's
Every
nice.
2 years, they had a new guy because we'd graduate and they had to come up with another sophomore.
Keep going,
Right.
continue to experiment.
Right, right.
And you've gotten into koi after the game fish.
Yeah, the koi came in probably 3 years after we were into it. I'd say 2002. Because the game fish, I just saw the light one day. We were surfing online, and koi popped up, and Japanese koi I saw online. They're selling for $10,000 a piece.
Wow.
I thought, wait a minute, I better
Some
see
of
what
those.
kind of fish this is. Yeah. So we looked into it for probably a few months. It didn't take me long to want to sell them. I knew strictly Japanese koi were selling for that high. We weren't going to do Japanese, we were going to do domestic koi. And our whole approach from the beginning was to get into selling to the retailers, like pet stores, water gardens.
And you just do you don't do Japanese koi?
Well, they're all Japanese, you know.
Or
The
just-
imported, the ones direct from Japan, if you bought it out of Japan and had it shipped, or they have dealers set up on the West Coast mainly, that
Okay.
sell strictly Japanese koi. And those are the super high price koi.
Okay.
But they're spawned and grown in Japan. That's the difference. Ours are spawned and grown here in Pennsylvania. Now,
Okay.
I buy Japanese occasionally, you know. I'll buy it 25 or 50 and then but I grow them from just 2-inch stock. So you don't know how pretty they're going to turn out. But if they're real pretty, I can generate a lot more money from those than I can domestic per fish. But the domestic koi, people love them. They seem to be hardier. You know, they don't inbreed domestic koi as much as they do Japanese koi.
Okay.
Japanese koi are inbred to get that super color. It's like thoroughbred horses, thoroughbred dogs. They're all inbred to a point so that they retain the most beautiful characteristics of that species. You know, domestic, they cross. They introduce
Kind of a different breed.
different breed here, different colors a little bit here and there, and that gives it more genetic vigor, I guess they call it, you know, so that they're stronger and hardier. The domestic koi in the United States, I think they're a lot hardier.
They seem to be.
Japanese.
The fish I got from you are still alive and kicking and growing.
Good. That's good. And
Just
how
can't
old
wait.
are those? How long?
3-4 years now, I think.
Right.
I think 4 years.
Yeah. You won those in an auction.
Yep.
That
First
was-
auction you had.
That was good. That was good.
I know I've been out here to get fish from you, and I've been at other fish places that we bought a couple fish from, and the care that you give the fish is just astounding for how nicely you put them in a bucket and make sure that no scale is out of place. Because I've heard that even putting them in the pond, that if you ding a scale or scratch up a fish, it's gonna like get bacteria, or get sick, and affect the whole pond.
Correct.
Is that
Yeah. The bigger the advantage you give to the customer, the more chance of them making it, with their fish.
okay?
A fish that's been handled roughly is going to get totally stressed. And by the time you get them to your pond, there's, that's a 50-50 chance that they'll make it or they won't. We try to get it to more like in the 90s.
Yeah.
Because people can put them in harm's way if they put them in a pond that's it's not very good water quality. And most people don't check their pond for water quality before they stock it, which is unusual. Which is not advisable. They should know the pH, should know the hardness, should know if there's a lot of organic water flowing in, that puts it high in nitrates. Fertilizers in surrounding areas running into your pond is real tough on fish.
Yeah, from a I don't know, cattle field or
Cornfield too.
cornfield
Cornfields
for
are
the
the worst.
fertilizer. And
Yeah.
is there a I don't know, they sell test kits that somebody could
Yeah.
go scoop out their water and
Right.
do a chest?
There's some real good test kits on the market, and they'll range from $10 to $200. I bought a $200 kit years ago because I wanted to check every parameter there was. Eventually, I got to the point though where I only checked two, and that was pH and hardness.
Okay, and I'm gonna have to find those online so we can get those available.
Sure can. And all you have to do is water quality. Just do a search for water quality testing, and you'll get 10 different manufacturers of kits.
Okay.
I couldn't recommend any one above another because I'm not sure how good the quality of the tests are. That's a tough one, but I imagine they're pretty good.
Good. Trying to think from after wholesaling, and now you're into retailing. You've gotten into aquariums and some of the smaller fish for aquariums.
Right. We picked up the line of Chinese goldfish, and those don't grow out of the aquarium so fast. We do raise koi in aquariums too, which is fun. They'll stay a lot smaller if you put them in an aquarium.
That's a trick though. I've seen it online, like that. If you put a fish in an aquarium, he'll never get that big, and then other people say, "Oh yeah, he fills the whole aquarium up and can't go anywhere."
It depends. It depends on how much food you put in there or how many fish. If you could maintain perfect water quality and feed them as much as you want, I think they would grow as long as the aquarium. But you can't do that. It's self-limiting by the amount of biofilter you have in the filter.
Okay.
The amount of biofilter controls the growth of the fish. The fish cannot grow past a certain point because all the waste has to be taken care of by the biofilter. And if it's not, the fish that'll slow his growth because there'll be a certain amount of contaminant in there that he's always fighting. He may stay healthy, but he's always fighting a little high ammonia level, which is going to stun him somewhat. Or he's fighting high nitrates. That's going to keep him stunted too. So if you had pure, perfect water quality, I think they just continue to grow.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Than just listening to somebody say, if it's in an aquarium, you can't get that big.
I have some
Well-
that I've had inside the shop there that are, they've been in there 6 months, and I haven't noticed much growth on them at all. And I have 16 in a 75-gallon aquarium. They're fat, but they're not getting very much longer.
Not longer.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap up here and maybe take a walk, check out a couple ponds, and